Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and we have been speaking with Simona Valanciute, and she's the president and CEO of San Diego Oasis. We've talked a little bit about the program in general, and there's so much that you're doing there. Let's talk, because this is a literacy show, about the Oasis intergenerational tutoring and mentoring program, and what's happening there. How you get people? Does everybody want to be a tutor, for example? Are there folks that's like, okay, you're not tutor material? How does that work out?
Right. Excellent question. So we've been doing tutoring as our bringing seniors and youngsters together for 35 years from the very beginning. Anybody can be a tutor. You do not have to know anything or would have done any work in particular. We provide you with all the training. So the way that works is if you say, spending an hour with a student for a full year every week with the same student every week for one school year is something you can do, something you can commit to. Mm-hmm. We say, great, here's the next training. It's going to take 2 days of your time. Mm-hmm. And, after the training, if you say that's not for me, that's absolutely great. Yeah. But, you do a half day first day, you come back for the second half day the second day. Uh-huh. And then we have what we call enrichment meetings, meaning we invite you every month to something different. Learn about, maybe ADD and ADHD. Mm-hmm. Learn some techniques. Learn about some new things that would be helpful to you as a tutor. So anybody can do it. We do tend to have a lot of retired teachers and nurses and educators, but not necessarily. We also have lots of architects and engineers and people who say, this is my time to contribute. And if I could go to a low-income school where some little student needs me, yes, sign me up for a year.
Goodness. And where's the downside on this, right? It works for everybody. Can you talk about what takes place in tutor training?
Absolutely. So we have a 40-year educator doing all of our tutor trainings. Mm-hmm. The trainings are very much curriculum has been written. All the materials are developed. So we walk you through, you're not a teacher, you're not expected to be a teacher, but you're there for two things. You're going to show up every week with the same student, and you're going to do two things. One is you're going to get them comfortable and develop a relationship. Mm. Two, you're going to read and write and have fun. These are the two primary objectives. Nice. So it might be that, coming in, this student that you will be assigned anywhere from kindergartner to third grade is behind in their reading and writing. So your ultimate job is to get them up to grade level. But before you get there, you can't start with reading and writing. You go there and you just get to know each other. Nice. And what we measure in the very beginning, and we've done this for 35 years, is attendance. If you are successful in laughing a little bit, drawing the handman, playing some games, you see the attendance of the student increase right away. Mm-hmm. Because students who are not doing well don't want to be at school. Every little student actually wants to do well. Whatever you might think, actually every learner wants to do well. And so if you're in kindergarten and you just can't, you're behind, you're feeling terrible, you don't want to go to school. So if we are successful in pairing a great tutor who's there for that one student only, and that tutor is not a principal, is not a teacher, is not a policeman, you cannot get in trouble with that person. Right. They're kind of your grandpa or grandma, and they're just there to have fun with you and nobody but you. So if you would believe it, a lot of times kids like, oh, why can't I go with Mr. John Dunningley? I do believe it, yes. I want to do that. Yes. And so they stay inside the classroom during the school day, and they do work. But it is focused on developing the relationship, having some fun, and then eventually we get to the reading and writing. So we give the tutors not only here's the Common Core, this is how we support Common Core. It's really important that we work towards the goals of the teachers and the principals and the educators. That's why the educators love us, because it's not some nice thing that nice people just say, oh, we're going to deliver some books, we're going to read some stories.
Right.
It's an actual commitment
Right.
that supports the educator and the child.
Right.
So everybody's happy. So very often the principal, once they see the work we do, they say, do you have 5 more? Can you bring 15 more? How many more can you bring to my school?
So how many schools are you in?
We are in 104 elementary schools across 12 school
my goodness.
districts. So if you can imagine, this is pretty massive.
Mm-hmm.
We have 800 tutors who are older adults working across 12 school districts. We're coordinating all the million details that it takes,
Yes.
because you may know that each school district might have a different fingerprinting and background checking
Right.
and onboarding process. They may or may not have volunteer managers on site. So we deal with a lot of school districts and then individual schools. So it's quite a lot of work to coordinate all of that.
It's important work. And when you look at the matching up, because that's very important, the relationship is very important. In fact, we have something that we call relationship-based learning. And so, yes, it has structure and such, but so much of it is about how the student is feeling with the person they're teamed up with. Because things happen. So let's say you start with these matches. How many of them will last through, percentage-wise, through a whole year?
100%.
Okay, very good.
Even if something happens to you, which, when we're older, things do happen.
Sure.
You fall, you get hurt,
Yeah.
something happens. People are so eager to substitute. So if you make a commitment to Annie, and suddenly Jose is out, Simona will step in and say, Annie, we'll take care of Annie.
Very
There's
good.
nothing that will stop us from taking care of Annie. But, your important question about the matching. So I'll tell you one quick story if we have time. It has to do with Mrs. Wingert. She lives in Escondido. She is an author. She writes books. She's from Germany, and she found herself, saying, okay, I'm an author. I love to read. I love to write. I have this passion for literacy. I want to give back. This is my time to give back.
Yeah.
So we put her through the training. We assign her to Rock Springs Elementary School in Escondido. The teacher assigns her a kindergartner with really big bangs that kind of, cover the eyes. And Mrs. Wingert is so excited. She's about ready to change the world and rock this student's life. And they sit, and she can't get the student to talk. This little girl is just looking very sad and very reserved. And so first week, no talk. And she's tried everything. She's trying to talk about her and the books and why she's here and why the teacher thought it would be a good idea for them to spend an hour together.
Yeah.
She goes second week, no progress. By this time, Mrs. Wingert is feeling like, oh my gosh, this was going to be a spectacular experience for me, and it's not happening. So third week, she says, look, if you're not going to talk to me, I'm not going to come back next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to the teacher. I'm going to talk to Oasis. Do you think there's something in your heart that, would you just share with me something? And the little girl starts crying, and Mrs. Wingert starts crying, and the teacher looks over, and they're both bawling. And the teacher's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Well, the story is such that the little girl says, look, I don't want to be at school. I don't want to be at home. My parents are getting a divorce. And so she's crying.
Yeah.
Mrs. Wingert starts crying, saying, you know what? When I was your age, about 7, my parents got a divorce.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm from Germany. My parents ended up in East Germany and West Germany, and I couldn't see my dad for 20 years. So at this point, they're crying. Then Mrs. Wingert says, this touched me so deeply that my first book was called A Bucket Full of Love. And it's a book about a little girl going through a divorce.
Oh, boy.
And so they decide, okay, we're going to get together next week,
Yeah.
and I'm going to bring the bucket full of love, and we're going to read this book, and we're going to talk about divorce. And at the end of the year, the grandmother of this student found out Miss Wingert in the appreciation ceremony and said, you have saved my
How
granddaughter.
about that?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You've turned her around. She's a superstar student. She's always been really smart, but when she hit that low emotionally and the school just didn't make any sense, thank you.
That's one of many stories. We're going to have to cut out, but do you have a number where people can contact you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
619-881-6262. 619-881-6262. Call us.
Thank you, Simona. And we're signing out here. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and you've been listening to Literacy for All, powered by WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.